there. Today we are talking, just a sec. So today, welcome to my weekly Facebook Live. And today we're going to talk about how to become a go-to expert in your niche. So many new coaches always say, I can't choose my niche, I don't know what to choose, I'm not sure what I'm good at, I don't know what I like. And I know that for so many of us, it is just a way of procrastinating, a way of making, if we don't have to make a decision, then we don't have to get moving. Then you don't have to start looking for clients. Then you don't have to wonder why your calendar isn't filling up. You can easily stay stuck in that, gosh, I don't know phase. So there is one of my all-time favorite freebies, 147 proven niches. It's available for download. It's in the description of the video up there. If you're one of those people and you're just getting started and you don't know what your niche might be, grab that download. It is a very, very big, long list of all kinds of things that you can be a coach in, that you can niche down to. So that being said, let's talk about how to become a go-to expert in your field. As always, I've got notes, and I wanted to start with talking to you about the fact that I think there's 10 steps. Now, don't kind of freak out on me because some of these steps are really more mindset. Some of them do take a bit of time, but it's your coaching practice or it's your service business, and you want to make sure that you're doing something that really feels satisfying. So take the time that you need and work through these steps. I'm going to go through all 10 of the steps. If I'm going too fast, come back and watch that replay. Press pause, do the next step, go on to the next step. Use this as a little mini training video. So here's what I wanted to share with you. Step number 1. Begin by don't allow yourself to get stuck in overwhelm and indecision. Don't allow yourself to say, oh, I'm a newbie, I'm a baby coach, I don't know, I'm not an expert in anything. Don't give yourself the bandwidth to do that, because that really is just your voice of self-doubt getting loud in the side of your ear there so you don't have to make a decision. So get tough with yourself. Say, no, I'm going to do this work and I'm going to make a decision, and it's going to be a great decision. It's going to be wonderful. So that's the first thing. Don't allow yourself to get stuck, and don't allow in that I don't know phase, because really you're not doing yourself any service. You're just using it as a delaying tactic so that you don't actually get out and do the coaching that you want to do. So there's step number 1. Step number 2, if you are alive and you are an adult and you're here, you've had an entire life of doing all kinds of things, and many of those things you just take for granted. But you've got expertise in areas that you've forgotten about. So let's start with some ideas on how to go about this. So if you're an adult, if you're alive, you just know that you have an expertise. You've got at least one, and I'm going to give you some tips on how to find multiple expertises, places where you could claim being an expert legitimately, because you really do have experience and you have success in that area and you can help people with it. So because you've got thoughts, because you've had lots of experience in your life, I would challenge you to take out a big stack of paper. I like these big pads of paper, and I would challenge you to write down 100 things that you have done where you have succeeded. 100 things. Now, I know you might go, oh, Candy, 100 things is a ton of things. And you know, it is. But you're going to find that once you start writing, the first couple, you're going to have a couple of ideas. Then you might get stuck And it's okay. You can go and have a cup of tea, come back to it, leave that paper out on your kitchen table or on the kitchen counter, and come back to it as you continue to have ideas. Once you start to get those ideas flowing, you're going to find you've got a ton of ideas of places that you have been successful, things that you've done in your life. Let me give you some examples. So, maybe you've lost 20 pounds and you've kept it off for 5 years. Well, that's not just one expertise. Just that example alone is two. First, losing the weight is one thing. Keeping the weight off is a second. So there's two possible examples maybe you've experienced. So what about you had a chronic health condition and you learned a whole bunch of stuff about how you want to feel in your body, how you want to take care of your body, and you've integrated some new movement, some fitness maybe a new style of eating. So you've got a lot of things that you could say that you've learned with this challenge. What about maybe your child had a diagnosis of ADHD or ADD and you were a great advocate and now they're getting close to being done with elementary school and guess what? They're doing great. Well, there's a lot of experience there for you as well. Changing careers, maybe you've moved to a new country. What about maybe that person that always shops at a vintage clothing store and you always look fabulous? And you spend way less money on your wardrobe than so many others do. What about, let me tell you some other ones. Maybe you are an excellent team sports player. Maybe as an adult, you rekindled that love of track or swimming and you went back into the pool again or hit the track again. Or maybe you've taken up cycling, long distance cycling. That's another place. Those are other places you could look. What about if you throw great parties and people always say to you, oh my God, I feel so welcome every time I come to your house. Well, that is a massive skill. Not everybody can do that. That is another expertise. What about, are you that person that always meets excellent people at networking events? Or maybe you've learned how to meditate to manage your stress. Or maybe you've taken up yoga. Or you read a book a week and you always are learning new things. So you see how these things that just, when you do them, after a while they seem like second nature. But somebody from the outside might look at that and go, wow, you took up swimming as an adult, competitive swimming, and you know how to do that now? Wow, that's a big thing. So create your list of 100. Write them all down. If you get jammed up, if you can't think of what else you might want to write on there, give yourself a break, come back to it later. But I challenge you to create a list of 100 things that you've done. One more that you might have, maybe you're that person who there's always money left over at the end of the month. Wonder about that person. It seems like it's not a big deal, but it could be a huge deal in the way that you can help your clients. All right, so that is step number 2. Step number 3, before you discount what you can do, meaning so often I hear people that do amazing things, but because they've done it, they say, it's no big deal. They just shrug it off. Before you shrug those things off, remember, the things that you have learned and that you can do may not be a big deal for you, but it may be a huge deal for somebody else that you can help. I was talking to a lady earlier this week and part of a group, and I just thought we were having a discussion, and I was looking at how she pulls colors together for personal brands. And she's working on a little project and it's taking quite a bit of work. And I was amazed at how wonderful her stuff looks. That's not my skill. Not in a million years could I figure out all these wonderful color combinations. But for her, she says, oh yeah, I did it. Yeah, it took time, but she did it. And I am so appreciative of somebody who has that type of skill, that type of expertise. So that was step number 3. Step number 3, don't discount your skills. Don't think that they're no big deal because you already know how to do them. Step number 4, Okay, grab that piece of paper again, that list that has 100 things on it, and I want you to go through it with a highlighter. Now, my highlighters, I've got these teeny little highlighters, but go through that list and highlight the ones where you enjoyed yourself. Highlight the ones that were fun, that you're always interested in. So take some time and go through that list of 100. Yeah, you know what? There may be things that you can do, but you don't really like them. So let's make sure that you're not building a business around something that you may be very talented in, but you really don't enjoy it. So go through with your highlighter, highlight those things that you really enjoy. And now come down to, of those ones that are highlighted, come down and choose 5 or choose 10. This is your choice. You can choose 5 and do this. You can choose 10 or anywhere in between. And now here's what I'd like you to do. For each of those highlighted things, so skills that you have that you enjoy doing, for each of those skills, take some time and go, okay, what did I have to know? What did I have to experience? Who did I need to be? What did I need to learn to do this thing? So let me give you an example. Say you're that person who always has money left over at the end of the month. Okay, for you, if that's you, it might be completely normal. It might be like, oh yeah, of course, doesn't everybody? And the reality of it is nobody does, really. Tons of people don't have money left over at the end of the month. So when you're taking that one item and you're going, what are 5 skills, ways of being, attitudes that I had to have to do that, and then write those 5 down. So for this example, if you're the person who always has money left over at the end of the month, you could say, hey, you know what? I'm really comfortable with numbers. I've gotten comfortable with numbers. You may also say, I like to watch my finances. Maybe you keep an eye on your bank account so you know where your balance is all the time. Maybe you have a particular way of budgeting. Maybe there's a way that works for you. Maybe quarterly you like to sit down and review your finances because you feel like then your life is in order and you know what's coming up and you know what you've done. You know how close you are to being able to do something new and exciting in your life. A 4th thing, you could learn about what are the best kinds of credit cards. What's the credit card that has the best interest rate? Is there some kind of a balance transfer where you can get a couple of months for free interest? Maybe you've had a little look at all the different rewards programs. So maybe that's part of having money left over. If you don't have a credit card balance, you need a lot less money in the month. So you've got some money left over. Maybe that's part of your strategy. And finally, so the 5th way for this one is you're a kind of person who really values having less financial stress in their life. And that you know that when you have less financial stress, you've got so much more freedom and so much more space just to enjoy your life. So, like I said, take 5 or 10 of that list that you enjoy doing, and for each of them, create 5 skills or things that you learned or attitudes that you had to have or things that were important to you for you to get good at that skill. Now, yes, that is going to take some time. So if you're in the middle of doing that part of the step, it's a great time to pause the video and you can come back to it in a couple of minutes when you're done. All right, so that is number 4. Number 5, take that list of, I'll say 5 things or 10 things with 5 topics underneath them and start to get a bit of a bird's eye view. What's the theme that you're seeing show up? So maybe 2 of your things was, 1, I always have money left over at the end of the month, and 2, I changed careers. Well, maybe the theme is I value having more money and the freedom that it gives me. And maybe something similar showed up for both of those skills and both of those life events that you had. So now you're starting to see a little bit of a theme all around the things that you enjoy doing. So let me just look at my notes again, make sure I'm on track here. Okay, so maybe there is a theme of being abundant, that abundance and money mindset is really important to you. Maybe there's this theme of reduced stress around money. Maybe that's part of the theme that's showing up for you there. So maybe one of the niches that's perfect for you, one of the places where you could claim being a go-to expert is around money management, or as an abundance coach, or as a get out of debt coach. So there's a place where, based on your life experience and what you enjoy doing and how it's important to you, you could pull that together and be an expert in that area. So that too will take some time. And now if you're following along and you want to do this exercise, press pause and come back when you're done with that. Okay, number 6. We're getting onto the home stretch now. So the first is, this is an awareness piece. When you're talking about being a go-to expert, I want you to know that a go-to expert is not a static thing. There is you deciding what you want to be an expert in. You want to be able to claim it. You want to be able to claim it legitimately and really feel in integrity when you're saying, hey, I'm a great abundance coach, for example. So experts are not static, which means that they're always learning. They're always reading new books, they're always reading blogs, they're watching videos, they're taking classes, maybe they go to a workshop, maybe they talk to their friends about a different aspect of that. So experts are not static. You don't just get to a certain point of expertise and then don't go any further, right? This is something that you enjoy. So you're always expanding your knowledge, expanding your skill set, and practicing what you're learning, putting more of that into practice in your own life. Number 7, you want to have a healthy comparison. And so what do I mean by that? So often when I think of comparison, I get the feeling from many people, and I fall prey to this too at times, this comparison meaning somebody's better than me, or somebody is better than you, or somebody is worse than you. But it's not about that. So for me, in this context, healthy comparison means that there is no top, all-knowing, all-being expert in any field. There's many experts in the field that you choose, and that's fine. Some of them are a little bit further ahead. Maybe they know a little bit more. Some of them maybe know a little bit less, but they still have their own life experience, what they know, what they have available to help their clients. So there is no all-knowing expert, but there is space for lots of experts who claim their own expertise, who continue to grow, right? Make sense? You guys have questions? Pop them in the comment box there. Let me just check my notes. The other thing that I wanted to talk about around healthy comparison is that I really wanted to remind you that even if you know exactly the same amount of information about a topic, even if you know exactly the same, you've got a completely different life experience. The way you learned it was a completely different way. And so knowing that you have your life experience along with what you know and what you've practiced and what you're mastering, the way you show up as an expert will always be completely different than somebody who's right next to you, because they have their completely different experience too. And it's kind of a wonderful thing, because you could have 2 money coaches, for instance, or 2 abundance coaches, but because they've brought different life experiences or a different approach to the same material, you can help different sets of people. So I really want you to get this, that there is comparison and then there is healthy comparison. And healthy comparison means there is lots of room for everyone in that area of expertise. Just because there's 10 or 20 or 100, there's still room for you. So just keep that in mind. Okay, and next, let's move on to number 8. Number 8 is keep on learning. Like I said earlier, an expert is not static. So keep on learning and teach what you're learning. Share what you're learning. Practice what you're learning so that you've got a way of sharing more with your clients. And that's how you really continue to build your mastery, to build your expertise over time. Number 9, share your opinion. So you've got your expertise. You've got the thing that you're that go-to expert in your niche. Now share your opinion about it. It's great if you have a different opinion than somebody else, another expert. Share your opinion. This is what you've learned. And there's going to be somebody who needs your opinion, who you're really going to resonate with. So that's another thought too, about the more you share your opinion, the more you shows up in your personal brand, the more you shows up in your coaching practice, the more visible you are, and the more open you are to share your opinion, means you're going to be so much more attractive to the clients that are looking for your help. So, and then finally, step number 10 is to claim it. Claim your expertise. Say, okay, that's it. I've done the work. I know I'm always interested in finance. Yes, there's other things in my life that I'm interested in, but you've got to claim one thing to start out with. And the reason for that is that otherwise you're going to have split energy. If you don't lay a stake and claim one thing, you're always going to be forever stuck in the mud. You're never going to be able to make traction in claiming and mastering that expertise for the future. So claim it. That means put it on your website. When you talk to people, you say, hey, I'm a money mindset coach. Claim it in how you describe yourself. Put it on your social bios. Claim that this is what you are and this is your area of expertise. So today was a bit longer of a Facebook Live than normal. And I hope that you guys found this helpful. I hope that you found that it is a little bit of a mini training. And if you're one of the people that has been wondering, do I have to be a go-to expert? What would happen if I claimed my expertise? And how do I do that anyway? I'm hoping that I've given you some step-by-step ways that you can go through your personal experience, the things that you know, the things that you love, the things that you're passionate about, and helped you learn how to narrow it down so that you can really claim your go-to expertise status. So, 10 points. I'm going to run through them quickly one last time. And if you're catching this video at the last minute, no, you can always rewind and watch the longer version. Point number 1 is don't allow yourself to swirl in confusion. Point number 2, you have life experience. Write a list of 100 things that you have skills in. Point number 3, before you say, it's no big deal, before you discount what you already know, remember, the things that you are good at, that come natural to you now, that you had to learn, do not come natural to everybody, and somebody needs your help. So before you discount yourself, make sure that you realize that it may be natural for you, but not for everyone. Step number 4, take your list of 100, use a highlighter, and highlight only the things that you enjoyed on that list of 100. And then from those highlighted items, narrow it down to 5 or 10. And for each of the items on that list of 100, go in and say, what are the 5 things that I needed to learn, the skills that I needed, the attitude, the values of why it's important to me. Now, step number 5 is take the list of pieces and look for overall themes. Usually, you're going to take a step back. Maybe come back to it tomorrow when you're doing it. Look for an overall theme before you start to narrow in on that place where you're going to claim your expertise. Step number 6, remember that being an expert is not a static state. You always want to be learning and growing and practicing. Step number 7, healthy competition is important. Remember, there's lots of room for all of the experts in the same area because each of you guys has a different version of expertise. You're at a different point on the journey, and you have your whole life's journey before you that is going to color how you are an expert. Point number 8, remember to teach and share what you're learning. Number 9, share your opinion. Be you as you are claiming your expertise. Be 100% authentic and tell us your opinion about the things that you've learned and practiced and your experience with them. And finally, step number 10 is claim it. Say that this is the kind of expert that I am. Put it on your bios, put it on your social media, put it on your business cards and on your website, and when you introduce yourself to people. And there you have it. That is the 10 steps to claim your go-to expertise as a coach. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks so much for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.